Hello, darling. It's me, Nova, at gypsyohm.com, and this is the 5th video in the basics kind of series or week or whatever. And today I'm going to be talking about locating stuff, including resources and Wi-Fi. When we first started on the road, we did not have phones. We didn't have cell phones. Well, maybe we had cell phones. We didn't have a smartphone. We Oh, I did. I was very creative. We did have iPhones, but they were not, they weren't turned on because I didn't think I could afford an iPhone phone bill. So whenever I could find Wi-Fi, I'd take screenshots of like the maps I'd go on, and I'd take screenshots so that I would know, where to go next when we were driving, if we were gonna, go somewhere, whatever. I'd take screenshots. And things like that. We could find Wi-Fi at McDonald's was very popular, very popular. Starbucks. The library is my favorite place for Wi-Fi now because being a family, it's very family oriented. I'm very selective about my libraries. When we travel, sometimes we found libraries that weren't incredibly kid-friendly. Generally, I find that the libraries that are the most kid-friendly are the ones that have like special space set out for the kids, and maybe like some kind of soundproof type of situation where the kids have a whole corner of the library to themselves, and there's walls that kind of enclose it so that they have more space. Those kinds of spaces tend to be more kid-friendly. Spaces that are more wide open, and the kid space is just in this corner over here, but the noise echoes, they tend to be less kid-friendly. But anyway, libraries are my favorite place for Wi-Fi. We're not a big Wi-Fi family right now. We're more outdoorsy at the moment. In the winter, we tend toward more Wi-Fi, but right now we kind of I'll talk more about our schedules and routine and stuff, but we spend, a little bit of time at the library and then a lot of the time at the park. And then we're just really careful about what we do when we have Wi-Fi. I've started to get more clear about directions for my business stuff so that I know exactly what it is I need to do while I have Wi-Fi. What else? Okay, so Wi-Fi. That's Wi-Fi. Trying to think. You can get those mobile devices. We had those, but they're like incredibly expensive and don't offer a lot of Wi-Fi, and they usually don't work when you're en route from one place to another. When you're driving, they usually don't work. So I don't have mine anymore. I did buy one and I used it. I didn't like it, and I was able to return it because I kept the receipt. So if you try it, keep the receipt. But yeah, so we tried that. We didn't like it. I really love having Wi-Fi on my phone. That's what I have now. I have my iPhone, and I use it for everything, and that is the way to go, and I will always have my phone now. So that's the phone and Wi-Fi. I think those are, yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as Wi-Fi goes. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but hopefully that's enough. Using the Maps app on my iPhone is incredibly helpful when locating things, when we're locating places to go. Whenever we get into a town, we try to kind of locate where a grocery store is that we're going to be able to buy groceries at, where the laundromat is, where the library is, where some parks are. Some basics like that. We try to kind of figure out what are we going to do in this city, and then we try to figure out, where those places are. And then we also talk to locals. Like if we're at a park and we're hanging out and, there's other parents there, we might say, hey, we're new to town, or we're passing through or whatever, and we're looking for such and such, and then they might be able to direct us to that. Usually, like I said, and I keep saying, and I'll keep saying, locals have the best advice. They know all the best spots, all the best places. So definitely talk to locals. Keep in mind if a local says something like, oh, this place is the best, it might not be your best. So maybe get a little more clarity, like, oh, do they have like really low prices? Do they have more of an options for organic food, or whatever it is that you're looking for, just to get a little more specific. So yeah. So there's that as far as locating stuff goes. Some places are like kind of like a hub for locating stuff. Like for example, a library usually will have like community events. They'll have some kind of a listing of community events and stuff like that, so you can see, what kinds of stuff is going on around that you might want to be a part of. Another thing that I've been wanting to talk about, or I've kind of mentioned in the last few videos, and I'm excited to be able to talk about now, is community resources. So community resources have been a really big piece to our survival as I've been kind of growing my business stuff more. We got plugged in to an incredible community in California that was really big on resources for people. So that's kind of what got it where we got started. We hadn't really been big on that stuff when we were in a house, but once we were out on the road and we were just needing extra help with stuff. As we learned things, there's a big learning curve with getting out on the road, and so the more support you have, the better. So what we've found is most useful to us is when we come into a new community, we'll locate the like a resources kind of building place where they have community resources. Oftentimes you'll find like a community resource center, or like where we're at now, they have like a inter-Christian something, I don't know, but it's like basically just a space where you can come in and you can say, we're kind of new in the area, we can use some help with food, we can use some help with, knowing where to park or where to shower or whatever it is that you think that you might need help with, and they can, give you a list of places that offer maybe hot meals or extra food, like food banks or something like that. And you can also ask maybe for if they have any information on surrounding areas, like the town that we're in right now. There's a town just maybe 10 miles south of this. That's worth it for me and my family to drive down there for a hot meal and come back up, because to feed 3 people is more expensive than the gas to go down there, eat, stuff ourselves with like delicious, healthy, nutritious food, and then they usually send us with to-go boxes. So it's definitely worth it for us to drive down that extra, use a little bit extra gas to go a little bit farther for that. So community resources have really been a big thing for us. And the thing with that is the people that work at the community resource buildings, and the people that offer the resources to people, just absolutely love our family. Like, we come in and we're happy and we're, just like smiling and bubbly, and my kids are adorable, and it just really lights up people's day, and it makes them feel so good about the job that they're offering, that they're able to, help families, support them in living in the way that feels right to them, so they can keep living this incredible life. When we go into dinners and stuff, the people that work at the dinners or the people that work at the food banks or whatever, they're just so happy to see, happy kids and, smiley, sparkly people. Like, we do a service in this world by being a bright, shining light to people, because smiles are contagious, happiness is contagious, and people are just elated to connect with us because we share that with them, and so they love to help us. People love to help us continue to do this. This is our service, is to live in a way that makes us happy so that we can share happiness with other people. It's what community does. It perpetuates itself through this kind of give and take that spirals upward, and so I encourage you, if you think at all that you might have, not enough money to live on the road or anything like that, to really look into these spaces, because it's a hit or miss sort of oftentimes with these kinds of spaces. But if you're in a community that we talked about before, about what kinds of communities we personally feel drawn toward, if we're in a community like that, then the resource centers and the services that they offer generally tend to be similar to that. When we're in, if we're passing through, or we're in a community that's a little bit rougher, then we find a little bit rougher kind of situations, and maybe we don't eat there anymore. or maybe we get our food to go, or whatever. And we're not beyond maybe letting them know, like, hey, we're so grateful. And I always go over and thank the people that spend their time and their energy and maybe even their money to put these things together to support us, because what big hearts they have, right? To take their time to do this. And I just love being able to really come over and show my gratitude to them. And, and if there is a kind of a situation, I've been kind of thinking about this recently in one of the dinners. Sometimes people will talk about things and not really want my kids to hear. Like, they'll talk about, so and so went to jail or something like that. I haven't heard that before. And like I said, we've been on the road for 3 years, and it's the first time we've kind of been subjected to those kinds of conversations. And so I've thought about maybe going up and saying, hey, thanks so much for, for this meal. Is it okay if my kids and I, pack it to go? Because there's kind of some conversations that aren't so family friendly. And so we just kind of, we'd love to eat this at a park. And thank you so much for preparing it and whatnot. Because maybe even that gives them a little bit of an idea of maybe the temperature, the emotional climate of the space where everybody's eating. Maybe they don't have people there to kind of see the conversation that's happening out there or whatever. So maybe that'll give them some kind of an idea also. But you can go online. You can call 211 from any location, and they can help you find resources. You can go online and find resource centers in whatever communities you think you're going to be in. You can Google, community meals, or you can contact churches and see if they know of any, or whatever you feel drawn toward, to locate these kinds of resources that will be useful to you. And the resources, oftentimes, like, we were in a community where they offered showers twice a week, and they offered laundry too. They did your laundry twice a week if you brought it in and you got in early enough and whatever. And we've just had such beautiful experiences, and these gorgeous communities that just are really big on wanting to help people, support people. And like I said, people just really love helping us, because we're often a real light in their day to have such a happy, healthy family come through, and then be able to really give in a way that aligns with their heart and their spirit also. So hopefully this is useful to you. If you have any questions, of course, please leave comments, or contact me directly. Yeah, and I hope this is useful to you. Okay, thank you. Mwah. Bye, darling.